welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews. I'm Scott. There's Dave above me, and down below we have tomatoes everywhere because what the hell? It is Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Yes, what a great theme song, man.
I remember in the 80s they had, I think it was the 80s, they had a cartoon on for a little while, and I remember that song from the cartoon, and I never listened to all the words to it. This is the first time I was
Oh my
paying
God.
attention to the words.
Yes,
God, it's funny.
it is funny. You mentioned as a kid the cartoon. I had a friend. His name's Craig. I haven't talked to Craig in probably 40 years.
Uh,
Um, and he would always sing that theme song every time we'd be somewhere. And when I watched this, it's like, oh my God, Craig would always do this. We'd be out playing in the dirt or whatever, and it's always Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Yes, over and over. That would as far as he'd get on the theme song. So it was a nice nostalgic memory.
funny.
All right, folks. Dave and I were like, "Hey, let's do something bad. Let's find something shitty.
Right?
Let's go for it." And I was like, "What could be worse? What could I mean, it's got to be really bad. Attack of the
Right.
Killer Tomatoes." And I think about 10 minutes in, I texted Dave, and it's like, "God damn it, it's good."
Yeah, it's actually funny. And I turned it on last night and started watching it with the wife, and I think she found it just as funny as I did.
There are
And
some really good moments.
like you had said that it reminded you of the original Airplane, and I can see
Yes,
that. I absolutely see that. Some of the jokes drop out of nowhere, but they
some of the
keep going.
backgrounds. Yes.
Yeah, they don't let you think about what the guy or girl just said. They just keep going. Some of the acting could have been better, but
It's not
all in
bad.
all, it was a cast of nobodies except for the one guy from Newhart, Bob Newhart show. And I'm gonna see if I can find his name
Yeah,
right now.
find him because some of these people look familiar. But one of the things I really enjoyed about this is just even the beginning, reading the credits
Mhm.
as it was coming on, and I love this.
Right.
And she actually shows up in the movie. Dean Grell as Miss Potato Famine, 1922, is in the credit listing. Now, when they go to the stadium at the end, there
Right.
she is, Miss Potato Famine, right there, front and center. It's like, you guys are brilliant. There are, as you said, there are jokes that are set up and they just go,
Mhm.
and it's very Airplane like. One of my favorite
Yeah.
things here's what made me think Airplane the first time it happened was seeing people walk down a hallway, and there was just a little nook in the hallway, but somebody was taking a shower in there, and it was just so out of place. And it's like,
Yeah.
did I just see that? Yes, I did just see that.
Yes, you
These
did.
this movie's funny, man. it's
And
it's good.
what I'm looking at, and I went on IMDb the other day.
Mhm.
I wanted to just pull it up and see if there's anything special about it. And I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking, and there's only one person with their picture
Yeah,
in IMDb. Eric Christmas was that played Senator Polk. Nobody else has got their
yeah.
what? No, here's Jack Riley, the salesman that was trying to sell the tomatoes. Um, the very beginning was very. Before I go through the cast names and everything, I looked this up because I texted you and went, "Wow, I can't believe that helicopter crash. I wonder if it was a real crash." I looked it up. It was a real crash. That
Was it?
helicopter when they came in spinning and they went
Hmm.
low,
I was wondering
their
about that too.
their rear blade hit the ground. It really did hit the ground, and the guy really did go out into a spin. It almost took the freaking heads off of the cops that were closest to the helicopter.
Oh,
Like when the
damn.
front blades, the big blades started hitting the ground. So I
Right.
guess after it crashed, they were like, holy crap, they got everybody out of the two guys in the helicopter. They got them out safely. Minor injuries. I don't know how the hell the guy lived through it, to be honest with you. Because when you see that thing go down, you're like, Jesus,
Yeah.
everybody's got to be dead. But they said that everybody was okay. But Jack Riley and the other guy were like, we got lines to do. Come on. And I think they ad libbed that whole little bit coming
Ah,
away from the helicopter. They caught the helicopter on fire. Whoever they figured we got to pay for a $60,000 helicopter anyway. Burn it. So they started the fire, and then those guys ran over to it to make
okay.
it look
So
like they're crawling out of a burning fire. And I was like, that's genius.
yeah.
That's taking lemons and making lemonade.
So so let me understand this. That helicopter was for the movie,
Well, they
and
rented a
they
helicopter.
had
It's supposed to come in low.
and they accidentally crashed it
Yes.
and got fortunate enough to grab some scenes and set it on fire and everything because
Yep.
it looked. I was like, that is one of the best helicopter explosion effects I've ever seen. It looks so real.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, that is a
Wow,
hell of a stunt man. And
that was
that's originally
awesome.
what I started looking up. Was like, how did that I think I asked like how did was that stunt done or something like that?
Yeah,
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes
they just said, "Fuck it, let's crash it."
helicopter stunt or something like that. They're like, nope, son, that was no stunt. That man crashed that helicopter.
Back in
And
my
I was
day,
just
we
like,
crashed
oh
our
man.
helicopters. Yeah.
And it cost them $60,000. And in the little bit that I was reading, it said
Oh my god.
that was more than the rest of the movie cost for everything. And I was like, could you imagine had they not crashed that helicopter? They could have boosted up a little bit more. They could have made a little bit better quality movie.
And here's the thing. Yeah, it's a low budget, but they had a budget and it shows, man. They got a lot of locations to work
Yeah,
well for what they were supposed to be.
yeah,
Um, the okay, one of the first gags early on is what just really got besides the shower was the
yeah.
meeting room that was so fucking small
Small.
that they had to crawl over the table and everybody's sweet and the Japanese scientist with his voice dubbed.
God,
Oh
that
my
killed me.
god, it was
I
awesome.
I was crying. I kept trying to get Kat's attention. She was doing something, getting ready for her show. And I'm like,
Right.
Kat, 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 Kat. And as like a wife usually does, she just ignores me. And then, Kat,
Yeah,
Kat.
well.
So finally, she's sitting on the couch a few minutes later, and that guy comes back on, and she sees, and she starts laughing. She goes, "Did you see that?" I said, "Yes, that's what I was expecting you to see." And
Oh,
she just
and
started laughing. She's like, that's hysterical."
not only did they dub his voice, the him knocking the picture of the USS Arizona off the
Oh my
wall
god.
into
Into
a
the
fish
fish
tank
tank.
and watching it sink was like, oh, it's still too soon.
That's
Oh,
exactly what I said. I looked over at Ken and said, "Oh, too soon."
too soon. But it
Oh,
was
that was
almost 100 years ago. But
oh, that's our sense of
holy,
humor. It's terrible.
holy crap. I saw
It
that
was
as like,
only 30 something years when they did this.
yeah.
This was
Yeah,
75,
they went
78,
they went for it. Yeah, 77. They
77.
went for it, and that shocked me. It's like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
that
That
was in
that
bad taste, but it was good. It was
it was in
funny. I
bad taste, but
laughed.
it
I
was funny.
laughed. I
It was
laughed. Yeah, especially it just lined up the Japanese saying, okay, on and on.
uh,
If you know history, you'll get the joke.
yeah. What's
So
funny is, and of course, they talked a little bit about a lot of these actors. This was their first movie, and most of them it was their last. The guy, the guy who played Mason Dixon, I guess
oh my god.
had a minor career in movies, like bad
Yeah.
movies, but evidently enjoyed himself. He retired from the Mississippi Housing Authority
Oh
after
really?
30 years of working for the Mississippi Housing
Oh
Authority.
wow.
I was like, wow, that he kind of fits. Like you look at him and you're like, yeah,
I can see that.
I could see that guy having that job. The lady who played Lois, I want to say Lois Lane, but that wasn't right. Her name was Lois Fairchild.
Fairchild, yeah.
She's a professor at UCLA Berkeley, or
Oh
was
wow.
at the time of looking her up. And she's what is it? It's of speech and journalism, I think is what it was.
Oh. Oh really? So she's a real
Yeah,
fucking
she wound up
journalist.
being like a real journalist or some shit. And I was like,
Oh
oh my
wow.
god, that's hysterical.
Yeah. Her sexist boss was really funny.
The sexist
Um,
boss. You're not using all your assets.
I love it when they had that three-way call. because the film was jumping between two
Yeah.
conversations, two
Yeah.
people on one side having a conversation, two on the other. They took each other's words and wove a narrative that fit, and it was smart, man. There's a lot of smartness to
Very
this movie.
and really well edited. That was a really good
Yes,
piece of editing
it
on
was
that.
good, really well
Because
done.
this is
The
such
yeah,
a dumb movie, but it's such a funny movie. And I honestly I wasn't expecting to enjoy this movie.
yeah,
I've I've heard about this movie almost my whole freaking life. I mean, since
yeah.
it probably came out. And it used to be a midnight movie. It
And since I was a little cherry tomato, I
yes.
I heard about this.
Yeah, that one's only a cherry tomato.
They needed a plant scientist.
Plant scientist. Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's what I think, Jack Riley was supposed to be. The
Yeah,
sales
I mean, because they did this on a genetically modified plants. Oh, looky here, here's Hollywood foretelling everything. Anyway, yeah,
yeah, so
and
plants
they
are
just
gonna
wanted bigger tomatoes, and they made killer tomatoes. This is the same story set up for so many movies. The government or somebody thinks about doing something. This is Jurassic Park. I mean, this is the
it
whole
is. It is. It you guys didn't think, wanted to see if you could do something. He didn't think
now
whether
whether
you
you should.
could have. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
screwed that
they
up.
needed Jeff Goldblum to pop in, spout some wisdom, and but dude, this is a fun movie. It's dumb as hell, and I like it. Uh,
So funny.
the musical numbers surprised me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the musical numbers surprised me and made me realize that everything needs at least a little Bollywood number or something.
That guy, when he just starts singing in the middle of their conversation, at first I thought it was gonna be like a Bill Murray moment where, you
Yeah,
know, I forgot what he starts to sing, but he call it luck, call it fate, call it
yeah.
karma, and then he just starts talking again. That's what I thought the guy was gonna do.
No,
But
I
the
would
guy
thought the
goes into
same
a
thing.
full-fledged song, and I'm
Yeah.
dying. I'm like, "This is actually pretty witty. This is actually a funny song." And
Mhm.
Kat looked over, she goes, "That sounds like something the guy from Oingo Boingo would have written."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my god, it does." Like, the
Yeah.
rhythm was almost
Yeah.
spot on Danny Elfman. I
I
was like, "Holy cow,
Interesting.
that's pretty fun." I keep turning green, I'm sorry. Um,
It's all right.
I don't know why.
Stop moving. It's not a tumor.
It's not the tumor. Uh, the,
Yeah.
uh, the sales pitch that kept going through the movie, this movie is so funny. Early on, when the original credits are rolling, they
Oh my
say that
god.
this movie is sponsored by, and they give you this address of this furniture store downtown near the turn by the exit,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Oh, that's funny." That's because at first you're just like, "Oh, that's kind of funny, haha." And then there's about 15 or 20 minutes in, they start doing a ticker tape
Yes, and it
across the movie,
continues. Every
and
now and then you'll see it
it's
come
the
across the movie.
address, and, if you like cheap furniture or,
Yeah.
used
King
furniture,
size bed, 300. Yeah, just get do it
and then
sofas
then
and
they give you the address and the phone number again, and then they do this, like, 3 or 4 times in the movie,
yeah.
and I'm dying, and it got funnier to me every time I saw it. I'm like,
Yes.
"God, that's ingenious." That that to me is comedy. Whenever you do something so silly, so random, and it shouldn't be funny. Most
No.
people, I'm sure, like nowadays, a lot of people would see that and just go, "That's so stupid." But I saw it and I just started
I
laughing. And
laughed. I
like I
laughed.
said, the more I saw it, the more I laughed, the harder I laughed, the funnier I thought it was. The guy kept going back to that one sales guy that's going to try and save the, killer tomatoes, and then they take him in to see the commercials that they're making
Oh,
and
the
how they
last one.
appreciate the last one.
Jesus is selling TVs or something. Trinitron.
Like, Jesus Christ. Oh my god. And the
Damn.
guy's just like,
Yeah. Well, that's just it. There's so much in this movie. most of the jokes work. I don't think I was never sat there like, oh, that was stupid, because the whole thing's stupid. But I mean, it's
Yeah,
not never like, oh, that was just bad.
it never
You know,
took me out.
right? Yeah,
Nothing took
never.
me out of the movie.
No, no. They embraced the dumbness and rolled with it, and it shows that everybody had a
Yeah.
good fucking time on this movie, and it's
The actress Sharon Taylor, who played Lois Fairchild, the main, I guess, main
mhm.
protagonist or one of them.
Yes,
Um, when she finally listens to her boss, and the boss is like, basically, the boss is saying, be a whore if you got to get this story. We got
yeah.
to find out. But he's not saying it that way.
No, he's
He's
saying it, and
even
you know
worse.
exactly
He's
what he's
even
saying.
worse because the way he's saying it makes it sound even worse than what it would really be.
Yeah.
And so she finally decides, I'm going to go down there and I'm gonna use my womanly ways and gonna try and get this guy. And she goes and she's just standing so upright and straight. And then she lays down on the bench. She puts her skirt down and she's just laying there in her like the best sexy way she knows how, which is just
Which is
laying
like
there
a
like a
board.
statue, like a board. And then finally something happens and she gets up and she's like, "What the hell is going on?" And the guy attacks her with a sword.
Yeah. Okay, this is a running gag. This
Why?
idiot. Okay, so
Really?
Mason Dixon. Dude, we got to talk about this for a second. This is one of the dumbest bits of it. Mason Dixon hired to get to the bottom of this or whatever, or
They hired the worst guy to look into it.
yeah. But he builds a team, and he has the water expert. It's a guy in scuba gear. We have an Olympic swimmer who never swims.
Well, she was a Special Olympics.
Special.
I think she was supposed to be Special Olympics, wasn't she?
Oh, I thought she was a regular Olympian. I don't know, but she was like I got a Russian vibe from her, like
Yeah,
a
could have been.
because she yeah I don't know, but it was they group that was but the best part was the guy who specialized in covert ops and costumes, especially when he shows up as
Guy,
Hitler.
yeah. Oh my God, that's Adolf Hitler. And here's the thing, folks: the guy that was in disguise as Adolf Hitler was a black guy
Yes,
who was obviously not Adolf Hitler, and who didn't look anything like Adolf Hitler. And this one dummy shows up and
the
thinks
guy
he's Adolf Hitler.
the
And my
guy that shows up with a sword, he parachutes in. Now, folks, he never takes the parachute off ever. He has it on for the entire movie.
and he's running. He's running with that damn thing behind him, and I'm like,
Oh my god.
I would have told the director to go f himself. I
Yeah.
would have been like, I don't care how funny this joke is. I can only do this gag so much before I'm
Oh,
gonna die. I'm gonna die if I try and keep running with
I'm
this story.
surprised. I'm surprised, you know. They did some good stunts because of that. I knew he was going to get
Oh,
dragged behind the car. You knew that
oh
was
yeah,
coming.
you knew that was
But
coming. Yeah,
yeah.
some of the stunts were actually really good, and everything, of course, is in camera. You
Well,
can't do
yeah.
it. They
We
didn't
have
have the money or the budget.
stop
Um,
motion tomatoes.
oh my God,
Yeah,
they were so damn funny, and their little voices.
I know.
And what's really funny is I caught this yesterday, and you probably did. The puberty song
Yes.
was sung by, I think, yeah, it was sung by the drummer of Pearl Jam.
Are you serious?
Yep, and the guy, he was also in another band. When Pearl Jam and all the other bands got
Yeah.
together and made one band,
Oh,
one album, and I can't think of the name of what the
yeah.
name of. I have the damn CD. I just don't remember
Yeah.
the name of the band. Fucking great album, if I can figure out.
But that is a horrible song.
Horrible song.
Oh,
But
but I
what I
remember
started
laughing when I first heard it on the radio. I was like, oh, that's brilliant.
terrible. It's so terrible, and it's funny. But the guys who did When Mars Attacks had to have gotten that idea for their bad song Killing the Aliens from this movie.
Ah,
They had to have. That was the first thing I thought of, was like, I've seen this before. Where have I seen them using a song? And then it dawned on me, it was like Mars Attacks. They were using the guy yodeling, and I was like, "Oh my God, those guys stole this from here. And it's brilliant because it works still. I would definitely steal that from this thing. And if I
I
could do
think
the same song, I would do the same damn song.
that is how Donnie and Skeeter uh, get the plants, the man-eating plants, to back off. Is with a song.
That'll work. That'll work. If we can just get the rights to the puberty song, it'll be
Can't be that
perfect.
much. Can't be that
I
much.
don't know, man.
So here's the deal. Maybe if we could get the rights just to use it, to not, I mean, just to be able to reproduce it,
Oh yeah.
we could make it ourselves
Oh, we could definitely make it ourselves.
because
Make a country song.
it's going to be bad no matter what. So that would be
Maybe,
perfect. We could just,
maybe
no, that's it. Donnie and Skeeter, we have a song. That'll be the song.
it's not.
We'll
We
make a
got
song. We'll do a song. I don't know
find this
what,
out.
but
Yeah.
we'll make something, and it'll be
But
just as
anyway,
bad.
when I saw that, I just started thinking of it like, oh my God, they used this in another movie. And I was like, I would hate to see this movie. I wouldn't have minded seeing them have better actors, but I understand there was no budget in this movie.
Oh no, they spent it on a helicopter.
Yeah, they spent, yeah, their whole budget was blown on a helicopter, and I'm sure somebody was not happy about that. But this, I'm guessing this thing had to have made its money back. I mean,
Oh, by
when
now
it
it
was
has, but
originally released, it had to have made its money
yeah,
back
it
because
did.
everybody I knew loved this movie, and I'm like,
There were cartoons. It made its money. It had
I had
to
no
have.
want to go see this movie.
I've never wanted to see this movie. I didn't want to see this when you put it on the list. I went through and I watched, you
Neither
sent
did
me 10
I.
movies. I watched every trailer, and this looked to be the only one that was watchable.
And I
Meaning
was just the opposite. I'm like, these are all watchable except Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
no, I was like, this is the only one
He'll
I'm
never
halfway
want to watch
interested in.
this one.
And I'm like, I can hardly make it through the trailers of the others. I was like, I'm not going to torture myself. I want to at least, if it's going to be bad, at least be entertaining.
But I honestly,
So,
it's funny because Scott and I done like what the last four movies have been really, really good movies. Like,
yeah, and here we go again.
love the movies. And I was like, hey, let's see if we can find something bad. We tried really, really bad when we found Devil Girls from Mars, and we both like Devil Girls from Mars. There's problems with it, but we both like it. Watch that
Love
review.
that movie.
Put it in the links if you can, if you remember to.
If I remember to.
But
I forgot what day it is. That's a good one.
it's Friday. But that's like the kind of movie I was like, well, find something that's just bad.
Yeah.
And I sent Scott a list of movies that I thought just looked bad. And I honestly didn't think you would pick. I thought this is one he will never pick. There's just no way. Nobody wants to see this movie. And I'm glad you did pick it because it was a fun movie. I liked it. It was funny. It does definitely have airplane vibes for it.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's got the dry, sarcastic humor. It's
Yeah.
got nonsense,
Jason
just
Nixon.
absolute nonsense. And I love when the attention to detail, to do things in the background, to make
Yeah.
little jokes, to when you pay that much attention to the little things and setting it up, it really pays off. You may not think so, but some of that
Right.
stuff is really brilliant, and it just gives. I have nothing but love for this movie. I don't. I'm not going to be watching it every year, but I
No,
really am shocked at how much I liked it.
I will
So,
probably watch it again in the next few months because
sure.
of the stuff happening in the background,
Yeah.
like Airplane, like Police Squad,
Yes.
to some extent, a Police Academy.
Yeah.
Watch them over and over again. You see
Most of
stuff
those
like that,
successful
you're like, oh my
real
God.
comedy movies do that, like the
Yeah,
Wayans do it all the
yeah,
time. And it's naming something,
yeah.
all kinds of pop cultural references hiding throughout. And it's like, wow.
Well, like when they were at the council, the senators were all on there. Did you notice all the senators' names?
I did not.
They're Polk, Van Buren, all these presidential names. But
Yes.
I think they were all in line, if I'm not mistaken. It was
Oh
like
my, see,
one
it's little
president
stuff
after
like
the
that.
other. And I was watching, I started reading them, and me and Kat just started chuckling at the exact same time. We're like, do you see the names? That's hysterical.
How about the president signing the presidential signing papers? I love that.
And then wrinkling them up and throwing them away.
Yeah, because that's all he does
That's
with a
all I
new
got.
pen each time. It's like,
He's
it was stupid.
Is that the last pen? Oh, thank God.
Yeah,
And
and
then
then the guy comes in.
coming in. He's like, official presidential signing paper.
So the guy who was the covert ops guy, the man of disguise, when he was ordered by Mason Dixon to disguise himself as a tomato and infiltrate.
Mason Dixon saw a way to get rid of that guy.
I was dying because he did it. He infiltrated them. He went and ate with them around a fire. He was with the tomatoes at a fire. He was in a suit, looked like he came out of a Fruit of the Loom commercial. I was like, what the hell?
He was accepted. He was like Boba Fett and the Sand People.
Yeah.
he was accepted as one of their own. And then he asks for tomato sauce or ketchup. Anybody get any ketchup?
And then his face.
And then you hear that, and the screen goes black, and you're like, "Oh man, he's dead."
Yeah, that was funny. Good flick. This is a shocker. I definitely recommend it. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's damn. This was good. That's all I got.
I just want to real quick before we clear off. Before we clear off, you hose heads. There's the return.
Hey, no way, eh?
No way. There's Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Return of the Killer Tomatoes, The Killer Tomatoes Strike Back, Killer Tomatoes Eat France, and then I guess they must have done a remake of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes in the 80s sometime.
Really?
Uh-huh. And I guess that must be the cartoon. And then there's the Killer Clowns from Outer Space. But I thought there was the Killer Tomatoes in Outer Space. Maybe not. Maybe I read it wrong. But there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, plus the remake, 5 movies.
Wow.
And the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes remake has a 4.6 rating.
Interesting.
This one, of course, has a 5.2, but that's
interesting.
Yeah. But I just thought that's really this movie made that many sequels. But Mason Dixon's character is a funny character. He reminded me kind of a John Belushi.
Like, yes, well, he had that look.
I could see John Belushi in that role. Like, if it would have been a step up. You know, I
wonder if that's what the director was thinking. I need John Belushi. This guy looks like him. We'll go with it. He got maybe he got that vibe. Is that that kind of works? And
David Miller was the guy who played Mason Dixon, and if you click on his name in IMDb, he still shows up in a couple of movies.
Yeah,
maybe 5 or 6 movies, but he retired from the Mississippi Housing Authority or something like that.
Yeah.
This, folks, is funny. If you like dumb humor, this is a dumb humor movie. This is a dumb movie. Don't try and follow the plot. Don't try and make anything more than what it is. It's just
enjoy the ride. Unplug, enjoy it.
A bad movie, well done. Or
we have a tendency to seek out these bad movies that are good. So we'll try again, folks. We'll try again.
We'll keep trying. So I recommend it.
Absolutely. I recommend it too. And if you like our show, please recommend it to your friends, your family. Hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe, and catch us wherever you watch or listen to your podcast. We'll be back next week with hopefully a stinker. Later.